Hey, welcome to Square Body Stuff. I'm Chad. We've got Squeaky in the shop tonight and a whole lot of bugs flying around, so you'll see them flying in and out and being a pain in my butt. But it is what it is. I just have to deal with them. So what we're going to be doing is installing a Pertronix Flamethrower 3 HEI ignition module in his distributor. This is a rev limited ignition module for the HEI distributors. It's adjustable, so you can adjust it, I think, from like the instructions say from 4 to 9,000 RPM, so you got quite a bit of adjustability. I'm actually running one of these modules in my other truck, Cream Puff, which he's pretty much just a street cruiser with a mild 350, and I left the module set at the factory preset 5500. It does work, works great. You know, you rev it up past that, I mean, it just cuts out like a regular rev limiter. So I'm pretty impressed with it. I've had it in that truck for probably about a year and a half now, so no issues with it. So I'm going to put one in old Squeaky here, my race truck with the big old 305 in it.
Because race truck.
Just to help protect it, because I've actually revved him higher than what I'd really like to a couple times, past 7,000. So I think I'm going to set this at about 6,800. So I've usually shipped him around 66. That'll give me a couple hundred RPM leeway. Should be fine. If not, if I blow it up, it's just a 305. We'll move on to bigger and better things. But I'll go through and go through the instructions on how to set these modules to what RPM you really want it at. I've never done it, so we're just going to kind of go through it together. Alright, now the instructions say you could actually do this in the vehicle, or they actually suggest doing it outside of the vehicle just by itself using a 9-volt battery, which I've got a good 9-volt battery. I've tested it with my tester. It does have 9 volts. I've got a piece of wood here so I don't accidentally arc anything out on my metal table, and I got a bunch of bugs. They're a pain in my butt. So I'll put my positive and my negative up to my little 9-volt battery, and I'll give you guys a picture of the instructions, and it shows to hook the positive up to the B terminal, which it's marked on there B and C. We'll mark the positive up to the B terminal, and the negative up to the ground lug, which is what goes through your distributor. Your screw goes through. So that's what grounds it through your distributor body. And once you get your leads hooked up, you got to use a small Phillips screwdriver and turn the dial. It says to turn the dial completely clockwise and then completely counterclockwise, and then it flashes one long and one short pulse. Okay? And then it says this pattern means the rev limiter is disabled. Turn the dial clockwise about halfway. And then it will set the RPM pattern. You got to count the flashes. And you got to go to the first part of the instructions. It says a long pulse is your thousands, short pulse is your hundreds. So long pulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's set it 6,600 because it's 6 long pulses and 6 short pulses. So it's 6,600. So I'm going to add just a little bit. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Oh, wait a minute, I went too far. 2. Okay, now I've adjusted that screw until it's got to the 68. It gives me 6 long pulses and 8 short pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that should be 6,800 RPM. And once you get it set, then you can just unhook the leads and you should be set. That's the way the instructions read it. This seems pretty simple. It may take a little bit. I had to adjust it back and forth just a couple times just to get it to where it flashes the right amount of numbers. But it did give me 6 long flashes and 8 short flashes. So that should be 6,800 RPM. Now what I'll do next is I've got a distributor out, just a spare distributor. I'm going to set it up in the vise and I'm going to show you how to replace your ignition module in your distributor. It'd just be a whole lot easier for setting up cameras while I've got it on a vise and instead of trying to do it in the truck. I'll show you how to do it on the distributor out and then I'll just do it in the truck without the cameras on, make it a lot faster. We're going to pretend that this distributor is in your truck or your vehicle. You've already got the plug wires off. This is you got to unplug this from your distributor cap. That goes into your module. Pull your distributor cap off. These 4 lugs. Take your distributor cap off. You have your rotor. I mean, you can get to it without removing your rotor, but it's a little bit easier. Just a couple screws, pull your rotor off. So that exposes your weights and springs. We don't need to worry about that. We just need to worry about getting this module out. Now this module is held in with some 1/4-inch headed screws. Some of them may have a Phillips head, just depends on what you have. Loosen those up. Now let's drop that one on the floor. Take that one out. Now once you got your module loose, you should be able to just slide it out of the connector there, slide it off your connector, go into your pickup, and that's it for removal. And once you got your old module removed, you'll want to kind of wipe this off, clean off any of the old gunk that's on there. Now before you install your new module, your new one will come with a little packet of this little grease, a little bit of grease here. And you just spread it out. Put a nice even coat of it. And then installation is pretty much just reverse of removal. Plug in your pickup. Plug it into your other plug-in. Put your screws in. Put your distributor rotor back on, cap, everything else, and should be good to go. That's all there is to putting in your module. Now, there's not much to changing out your module, not a big deal. It is a little bit harder to get to when it's in the vehicle because you're trying to lean over everything. It's on the back side of the motor. It's a little hard to get to, but not a big deal. Just take your time, make sure you get everything hooked back up the way it's supposed to be, and I'll be switching the one out on Squeaky here. I'm not going to get any video of that because it's just kind of boring stuff, no big deal. I've got the carburetor off of him too. I was doing a few things to it, so I've got a couple other things I'm doing to him. I'll get it all wrapped up, put together, and wait till daylight because it's like 5 o'clock in the morning right now. I'll wait a little while before I wake up the neighbors and to test out this new rev limiter, see if it works right. Well, it's daylight enough. We're going to take Squeaky for a little test trip. We'll get down the gravel road, get the cameras turned on, and see what happens. Hopefully we don't break him. We'll see if this rev limiter keeps them together. Well, everything seemed to work good. Got a nice launch, a little bit of a burnout, and a donut or two. That's really, I think this is the first donut I've done with the good tires I've got on the back now. I don't have the all-season racing slicks that I had on there before, the bald tires. I've actually got some tread on there now. Woo-wee, smooth as a baby's bottom, because race truck. So they make a little more smoke than what the other tires did. But me and the boy Connor had a little fun. Squeaky's running just as good as he ever has been. Got a rev limiter that works now, so feel safe that he's not going to get over revved. So be sure to watch these videos over here. Hit the subscribe button over there. I'll put links in the description below of the part numbers, or just a link to the part on Summit for that module. And until next time, y'all keep your square bodies rolling, and we'll catch you later.